it's me, Lauren. I'm here again shooting another video. I've gotten a lot of questions about how to trim your hair at home because all the salons are closed. I figured I could come on here and show you some tips of how I usually cut my hair to kind of maintain my length and the health of my hair overall. I definitely recommend going in and getting your hair done with a professional. But in these crazy times, we're all trying to create some kind of normalcy and just having that comfort of like just feeling better about ourselves, and whatever that takes, that's what we need to do. It's just meant to keep it shaped up and healthy, and keep the ends fresh. But I definitely don't suggest anybody trying to do any kind of crazy drastic look. I know while we're at home, we're going stir crazy and we want to make a bunch of impulsive decisions. But if you want to do anything to your hair, a trim is fine. I wouldn't try and do anything super drastic on yourself just because there might be regrets later. You know, this is for people that have longer hair. I would say like, you know, shoulder or collarbone and longer. This is a pretty good little video for you to watch to kind of get some tips on how to cut your hair. Anything shorter, I don't really recommend. Just let it grow and let it be happy where it's at. Unless you want to get a roommate or family, you could get them to help you trim up your hair if it's, you know, shorter than shoulder length, because it's very hard to make sure you get it straight in the back by yourself. And with longer hair, I usually just kind of part it down the middle, bring it forward, and I'll trim it kind of from there at its natural fall. I don't do any kind of crazy layers. I got a shag maybe like 6 to 8 months ago that I'm trying to grow out, so I'm not really focused on any of the layers that I have. I might kind of go through and pick at anywhere I see like split ends or anything. So when I'm doing my hair at home, all I need is a comb, some clips if necessary. If your hair's a lot thicker, you're going to want to section it off. Mine, it's pretty normal. It's not super thick, so I'm probably just going to cut it at its natural fall and not do anything super crazy. But if you need clips, these are great. And then some scissors. I would suggest still getting like some hair scissors versus like craft or, you know, scissors that you would have around the house. And yeah, so let's get started. So what I'll do with my comb is I always tend to flip-flop my hair. So I always cut my hair like straight down the middle to make it more versatile. I know some people, they have like a specific part that they never change. If you never change the part, then leave the hair as is. But if you do change it and you cut it on, you know, one part or the other, whenever you flip it, it might be a little uneven. It might be a little asymmetrical. So yeah, so I'll kind of go down the center. I brush everything kind of out on my chest. And I have a mirror right in front of me right here. So I'm looking straight into the mirror. And I gave myself a haircut a few days ago, and I think I forgot that little piece because I didn't have it straightened out. Whatever. So, and then also if you do have like hairdressing scissors, the thumb goes into this hole and then your ring finger goes into this one and you grab it like that. So that's how you use your scissors. I'm just going to kind of clean up where I was a little off the other day. And it's okay because we're human. Not everything is perfect all the time. This is a great time to practice. So if you mess up, you're only going to get better. If I'm cutting your hair and you ask me that you want X amount of inches, I always like to go longer because you have more room to play. I usually just bring all my hair forward to cut it because a lot of the time in everyday life, our hair is usually kind of like in front. So as long as that's even, that's fine with me. And if these are even, usually when you put your hair to the back, it's even as well. So it's a good little way of like cutting your hair, easy at home, little hack. The thought process behind bringing your hair forward with this haircut is you're over directing. So when you cut a straight line this way and you put it back, it kind of has like a little bit of a curve. So this hair, it's going to be a little bit shorter up here and kind of go longer into the back. So might as well just cut off some more hair to demonstrate a little bit better. So what I'll do is just kind of take like an inch. And I don't ever like to hold a lot of tension to the hair, especially when it's dry, because when you're holding it and you cut it, you release it, it doesn't have that tension anymore. So it might be a little jagged. You will get cleaner lines if you just have it at its natural fall and your sections are thin enough to where the scissors aren't pushing your hair, because whenever it pushes the hair, that's when your hair starts to kind of, you know, get jagged or choppy. So when I'm giving my own haircuts at home, I do prefer to have my hair dry. I like cutting dry hair because you just see where the natural fall is. And as you're cutting, don't let that choppiness bother you, because I'm going to show you another little technique that I do to really soften lines without using texturizing shears, because I know not everybody has those. So I think that's pretty straight of a line for me cutting it myself. And then I'm just going to match this side to the other side the best that I can. It's so hard doing it the other way when you're used to, you know, you're right or left-handed, you always have your good side. Doing my right side's always a little bit more difficult because I'm right-handed. So I've got my guide, which is right here, and I just kind of follow it. I'm not really putting any tension on it, I'm just kind of holding it too. Have all this hair on my couch now. It's lovely. But see, so I've got my hair, it's pretty straight for doing it myself, looking in the mirror. So once I kind of get that done, then I'll go back in. I'm not really doing any layering. It can get very difficult when you're trying to layer your own hair yourself, unless you want to literally bring all your hair up and then kind of cut it straight across. I'm not really doing layers because, like I said, I'm trying to grow out my shag. So I've got my length. Now, if you feel like the ends are too crisp for you, a tip that I have is to take the scissors and you're going to hold the hair loosely with these two fingers. Kind of out like this, and then it kind of spreads. And then to soften these lines with the regular pair of scissors, you'll still kind of do the same thing, but you need to be extremely careful because with this being a straight blade, there's no teeth or notches to, you know, save some hair. So you really go in very slow and just keep it very vertical and take out the least amount of weight as possible. So this is some point cutting. So I'll take it. So I got my section. I'm going to go in here and kind of cut into that just to soften it up a little bit. Just make sure your scissors aren't diagonal, taking out a bunch of notches, or it's going to be very choppy. So just kind of clean that up a little bit. It takes out lines. So I'm going to take my section with these two fingers, hold it until you have a little bit of the ends, and then kind of go up in and point cut. And you see there's not a lot of hair falling. So you want to make sure your scissors aren't doing this, but they're completely vertical cutting into the hair. And as you go in, do a quick snip. So now you can see it's a lot softer of a line. It's still straight, but it's just softer. Now, another tip that I like to tell people with debulking, you are going to need to section off a little bit. But what I usually will do is take about an inch section, kind of. It's going to be about the same thing where you're trying to like blur lines, but you're going through and cutting up into the hair. Usually I'll use the texturizers. It's a really great way. It has these teeth in it. I don't know if you can see that. All those little teeth. And it helps debulk. So typically I would go in, and I always like to keep these vertical to the hair because it takes out the least amount of weight. If I were to go in this way, you would see a line. So to soften it, I'll go in and kind of comb out stuff. Now I know a lot of people won't have texturizers, especially if you don't do hair. So I'm going to do it with walking out the texturizers. So what I'll do is walk, 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 walk. And this will kind of help debulk hair. Take another little section. And I usually do about 3 little walks, but start off by doing like 1 to 2. Hopefully I'm making sense. I'm still trying to learn how to create the verbiage to where it makes sense. So if anything doesn't make sense, you're more than welcome to message me. So, and then I'll kind of go through, walk, 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 and then I'll comb through the hair and see it debulks. I do suggest getting the these texturizing scissors, not these exact ones, because you don't need these. They can be very expensive, but you just need texturizing scissors that have about, these have 40 teeth. I don't know if I can, there we go. They have 40 teeth in them. So I've done this side. It feels a lot softer. You still get some movement in there. And then I'm gonna do this side. I'm taking about, you know, a little bit, like about 1 inch. And if the hairline is sparse, skip it. Don't even try. Because any kind of like face framing or, you know, hair around your face, it tends to be thinner. So if I were you, I wouldn't touch it. So I'll kind of move like anywhere past the ear to kind of debulk the hair. So I'll go in and then comb it out. Go and take another little section. And a lot of it's kind of like you kind of cut to feel. That's how I cut my hair in general, is I visually see the hair, but I feel it, and I can feel where the weight is that I want to take out. So I'll go through, walk, 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 walk. Hair. So I got some more of my, you know, that movement back in my hair where my hair was kind of very heavy. In hair cutting, it's a learned craft. So like, it doesn't come naturally. It does take a lot of practice. But with those few little tips, it should help you. I would start with straight lines, then to blend it out, cut up into the hair, and then keep brushing it out every so often once you cut it to just make sure it's kind of where you want it to. I wouldn't mess with your face framing right now. Don't do anything drastic. Like I said earlier, these are crazy times. I know we all handle everything so differently. Just if you want to do anything to your hair, a trim is fine. I wouldn't try and do anything super drastic on yourself, just because there might be regrets later. This haircut tutorial should help. It's nothing super elaborate, it's nothing drastic, but it does make you feel better. the fresh ends, when you go to wash it, it's going to be so crisp and feel really, really good. And maybe it'll inspire you to try some different hairstyles. If you have any questions, you are more than welcome to reach out to me. Yeah, so don't do anything super drastic to your hair. You totally can trim it. I mean, I won't judge you either way of whatever you want to do. Live your best life. I'm trying to create more content and kind of figure out what people want to see. Give it a thumbs up, and you can also follow me on Instagram. It's Lauren Klein Hair, and then you can also like my Facebook page as well, which is Lauren Klein Hair as well. I'm always here for you. I am always a message away. So if you do have any questions about what you should do with your hair, totally let me know. I don't judge you. You gotta do what's best for you, especially since I can't physically be there and be there with you. I just want to be there and support you in whatever way possible and support whatever you want to do to your hair. Yeah, so I hope you guys have a great day, and I really do hope this helps. Bye!